So in Bridge, we're going to find a JPEG, and we want to select parts of that JPEG. And one way of doing it is using a quick mask. And this is a really fabulous way to select things. And you can use a combination of selection tools, or in this case, you can use the brush. So I'm going to start with a selection. I'm going to grab the lasso and make a really sloppy kind of selection of Walter. And once you have a selection, even if it's not perfect, hit the letter Q on the keyboard. What is inside of that selection will appear, and what is outside of the selection will have a red overlay on it. So now you can use the brush to add and subtract from this selection. And I find this a really easy way to work, right? Especially if it's a really organic shape like this, where the magic wand wouldn't be great, the lasso is not great, marquee's not going to work. Okay? So you can use a combination of tools. So I'm going to select the brush, make my brush a little bigger by using the bracket keys next to the letter P. You have black and white is the foreground and background color. The shortcut for that is D. And you can see if with black in the foreground, you can add to the mask and decrease the selection, or hit X and put white in the foreground and you can add to the selection. You can zoom in. This is also a nice way to deal with edges that have fur or hair. And if you go too far, just hit X to put black in the foreground, and you can quote-unquote paint right over it. So I'm going to hit X to put white, go in and get his little face, this little piece of paper. Little nom nom. Hit X to put black in the front, clean that up a little bit. X and a slightly bigger brush just for demo's sake. So if you have to select like a big section with all sorts of weird angles and fur, this is a great way to do it. You press the letter Q to get in, and you press the letter Q to get out. So I'm making this a little bit sloppy. I don't want this in here, so I'm going to hit X. Put that right out. Zoom back out, hit Q, and you'll see that I have a much larger and much more precise selection. Now, if I were working on this for myself, I would save that selection by going to Select, Save Selection, Walter. And what this does is it makes it a permanent selection. So if I shut this file down, I save it, we'll save it on the desktop, and then I want to open it up again, you'll see I did not lose my selection. Even though it's not active, it saved the selection here. And I can go to Select, Load Selection, Walter's the channel, this is the document, and it's right there. Now you might say, wow, that's kind of messy, I messed up his foot. You can hit Q to go back in and continue editing, right? Or you can turn this on, the channel, so that you've got your main channels and the alpha channel selected, and you can just live edit the alpha channel, which is actually even easier because then you don't have to save another channel. And the same rules apply. If you go too far, just hit X. It puts black in the foreground. Sorry, X puts white in the foreground. And there you go. And when you're done editing that alpha channel, click there, click these top 4, and go back to your layers. Does that make sense? Excellent.